All right, it's time now for the game preview presented by Ticketmaster here with head coach Kevin Stefanski. Kevin, you guys are fresh off a bye week. This is a time for you guys to rest and relax and recharge. How do you feel like your guys are coming into this week of prep after that week off?
They did a great job. They made sure they took care of their bodies, came back to work, ready to work, ready to test themselves from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint. So I think we're getting guys healthy, which is also a big part of coming off of the bye, but they have the right mindset coming out of it.
I know another part of the bye week is some self-reflection from that first part of the season. So for you guys, what are some of the points of emphasis that you guys are entering this week knowing that you want to correct and you want to fix heading into the back half of the schedule?
There's so many improvement areas, and it's really from as a team, it's as an offense, as a defense, as a special teams. Some of them are very small, and this left tackle's right foot, it can get that specific. Other things are just big picture scheme. I want to run a little bit more of this coverage, a little bit less of that coverage. So there's a lot of things that when you have a bye week, you can really look at it that way, and we want to utilize that for the back half of this season.
All right, week 11, you're back on the road, New Orleans Saints. When you look at them, you got into the film room, big picture, what are they showing you?
Very talented team. Obviously score a lot of points on offense. They had some injuries there in the middle with where they maybe didn't play as well offensively, but they're healthy there, particularly at quarterback. They have a really good scheme that tests you in the run game. They have big plays that can come out of that. Off the pass game defensively, I think from the defensive line and the linebackers to secondary, you just see talented players, and they really have playmakers in that back end. They can really make plays in the football, as we've seen in that last game, Tyrann Mathieu having a big interception at the end of the game. So it's a talented group, and not to mention their special teams is really talented, and obviously Coach Rizzi has a huge hand in that.
So actually going to talk about Darren Rizzi, new head coach for them. When you're game planning, when there's a change like that mid-season, does that change how you approach the game plan for any given game?
Obviously a little bit, because he's still super involved in their special teams. You're not going to change schematically wholesale, but there's little things that we feel like maybe they're going to get into this coverage more, or maybe get into this run scheme a little bit more with a different coach. So those are the things we talk about, but it's only one game in, so it's hard to say.
All right, Saints offense. You mentioned the quarterback. Derek Carr has been in this league for a long time, so what are you expecting from him on Sunday and the approach that you guys have to have for him?
He's really talented. Just having gone against him a bunch, we have coaches that have coached him as well. He's very, very intelligent. You're not going to fool him. You're not going to have a coverage or a blitz that he hasn't seen before. So he processes information really quickly and is very talented from an arm standpoint. He can make every throw.
Now, their run game, Alvin Kamara is a guy that can make those big plays. So how do you go approach him, containing him both in the run game and that dual threat of being able to be a receiver as well?
Well, you're right, Cam. He is the ultimate dual threat, leading receiver, leading rusher for this football team. He's a challenge to get on the ground. Whether he's in space on a screen, or you hand him a wide zone, or you line him up out wide and run a route with him, he's hard to get on the ground, and he's been doing this a long time. He's just has the foot speed, has the quickness, has the ability to wiggle out of tackle. So it's on everybody to try and slow down a player like that.
And in their pass game, they have, Tyson Hill, Foster Moreau, and then Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who can be a deep threat. So what are maybe your secondary? What are they looking at in trying to make sure that doesn't get going?
Well, Valdez-Scantling just gets there, and he already has 2 touchdowns. You mentioned Taysom Hill. He's really the Swiss Army knife. He can line up anywhere, including at quarterback, at fullback, at wide receiver, tight end. So they do a nice job in making you work and understand where all their players are in the formation on any given play.
Turn the page to their defense. Guy up front, everyone's eyes draw to him, Cam Jordan. How do you make sure that he doesn't disrupt your offense and get at your quarterback?
He's really talented, and he always has been. He's so powerful. And they have a lot of guys up front for them, Granderson being one, where they play with great effort. They have length. So this is a team where whether you're running the ball or you're passing the ball, you have to understand how disruptive this front is.
Now, the addition of Chase Young for them, what has that been like for their defense?
Well, he's long. He plays with great effort. He can win with speed. He can bull rush you. When you see him up close, he is a really impressive person from a length standpoint. So understanding his moves and how he wants to win is really important.
You mentioned special teams. Obviously, their head coach has that background. So what are you expecting from this matchup, especially with your bye week having the time to clean some things up on your guys' end as well?
I think that's both of it. I think we want to understand them and understand ourselves at the same time, going back to some of the things that we feel like we can improve upon. But they're a major challenge on special teams. And again, Taysom Hill is a great player. He plays all over the place for them on special teams, so understanding where he is really important. So it's a really good scheme with really good players.
And you guys are focused on football, but in this game, obviously, the emotional aspect is there. And Jameis Winston returning to New Orleans, first game against the Saints. Has he talked to you about kind of what that means, or is he approaching this business as usual?
He's a pro. He's a veteran. He's been with this. He was with Tampa Bay before then and has gone into Tampa and played. So that's just part of it when you're a veteran. You've been around for a little bit. You go back and play your former teams. I know going into that stadium and maybe seeing those familiar faces will be a unique situation, but he's a pro. He understands the job and the task at hand.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach, and good luck on Sunday.
Thanks, Cam.